Welcome. Today we're going to go through a Maestro gas sensor calibration. First thing we're going to do is go through a checklist of items that you need. So the first thing you need is your gas sensor. This is usually comes in a packing. Here's the gas sensor itself. The most important thing to note with the gas sensor is to make sure that you remove the protective sticker that's at the bottom. It's covering the orifice for the sensor to make sure that there's no toxic gases or anything that go in, and there's no intrusion into that orifice, damaging the sensor. Also in the packing, you'll find a couple of pieces of information. So first thing we have here is the gas sensor calibration data sheet. And what this has is it gives you information about the calibration bottle that has been used for the gas sensor, as well as other information such as what factory calibration date and was used on the gas sensor. And the next piece of information provided is the warm-up table, as well as any updates that you might see with the gas sensor itself in terms of functionality. So here in the warm-up table, the first thing you can look at is what type of sensor you have, and then you can reference it on the warm-up table to know how long you need to allow the sensor to remain powered on before you can actually attempt a calibration, or you can use it in the field. Because what happens is during the warm-up time, the sensor will not display any readings. So it's important to note how long your sensor will be warming up before attempting calibration or using it in the field. So we have a CO sensor here, and according to the warm-up table, the long power off time, which is if you haven't powered on the sensor for, let's say, minimum a week to 3 months. Sometimes they're used as backup sensors and they haven't been powered on for a while. So that warm-up time, you need to allow the sensor to stay powered on for at least 2 hours. Whereas if your sensor has remained powered on like what we have here, and you just power it on and do a hot swap, and you want to recalibrate that sensor, all you need is 5 minutes for the CO sensor, and you should be good to either use it or use it for calibration. Next thing on our checklist is the calibration gases. So for our sensors, you will have, you'll have 2 calibration gases that are required. One is the zero gas, which will always come in a bottle like this. And the other one is the span calibration gas, which is a different bottle based on if it's a toxic or non-toxic gas. So here we have carbon monoxide CO 50 ppm, which is used to calibrate our CO 100 ppm sensor that's plugged into the Vigilante station right now. The most important thing to note is that your gas is still valid. So on the label itself, you'll be able to see a manufacturer and expiration date. This bottle expires in June 2023, so we're still good to use this bottle. After that, the next thing on our checklist is the calibration equipment. So for this, we have 3 pieces of equipment, or actually 4. But the first thing is the regulator, which gives a flow of 0.5 liters per minute. It's important to use a regulator with that flow because our gas sensors are calibrated with the same flow. And if you use anything too high, it will actually mess up the calibration based on timing intervals as well. The next thing is the Tygon tubing, which is a non-reactive tubing which we provide used for calibration with all of our gas sensors. We also have here at the end of it is a calibration cup, which is used to supply the gas to the face of the sensor. The most important thing with this is to make sure that you have the sinter diffusion filter plugged in at the end. Otherwise, it's just going to force the gas into the sensor itself instead of letting it absorb into the sensor naturally as if it is in the environment. So that's our checklist for the gas sensor. Next, we will go through how to calibrate a gas sensor using local calibration, which is through the keypad on the Vigilante itself.